My entitled sister makes my life miserable, and my family always defends her, so I might did them wrong. I, 28M, find myself in a moral quandary that has been years in the making, and I'm turning to the Reddit community for perspective. This is a long and complicated story, so hang with me please. Our family dynamic has always been complex. I'm the oldest of 3 siblings. There's me, my sister Lily, 23F, and our younger brother Max, 17M. Our parents, Dad, 54M, and Mom, 52F, are still in the picture, but their presence has been more of a complication than a comfort over the years. Growing up, Lily was always the golden child. She was beautiful, charismatic, and could charm her way out of any situation. Max, being the baby of the family, was doted on and protected. And then there was me. Responsible one, the fixer, the one everyone relied on, but rarely appreciated. When I was 18 and about to leave for college, our family was hit with a bombshell. Dad's company went bankrupt, and we discovered he had been embezzling money for years to maintain our lifestyle and fuel his gambling addiction. He was arrested, and our comfortable upper-middle-class life came crashing down. Mom, who had been a stay-at-home parent, was devastated. She fell into a deep depression and turned to alcohol to cope. Suddenly, at 18, I found myself as the de facto head of the household. I gave up my scholarship to a prestigious university and instead enrolled in community college while working full-time, keep our family afloat. Lily, who was 13 at the time, didn't handle the change well. She acted out, started hanging out with a bad crowd, and began experimenting with drugs and alcohol. Max, only 7, became withdrawn and struggled in school. I did my best to be there for them, but it was overwhelming. Fast forward 5 years, and things had somewhat stabilized. Dad was released from prison and was trying to rebuild his life, but his criminal record made it hard for him to find decent work. Mom had managed to get sober, but she was a shell of her former self, prone to anxiety and unable to hold down a job. I had completed my associate's degree and was working as a junior accountant, still being the primary breadwinner for the family. Lily, now 18, seemed to be turning her life around. She graduated high school, barely, and enrolled in the local community college. I was hopeful that she would follow my path and start contributing to the family. How wrong I was. Instead of focusing on her studies, Lily dove headfirst into the college party scene. She was constantly out late, coming home drunk or high, and bringing random guys back to our house. Her grades plummeted, and she dropped out after her first semester. That didn't stop her from continuing to live the party lifestyle. I tried talking to her, pleading with her to get her act together, but she would just laugh it off or accuse me of trying to ruin her fun. Mom and Dad were useless in this situation. Mom would just cry and lock herself in her room, while Dad would try to be the cool parent and actually encourage Lily's behavior, probably as a way to cope with his own guilt. Max, now 12, was caught in the middle of all this. He was struggling in school and starting to show signs of depression. I did my best to be there for him, helping with homework and trying to provide some stability, but it was hard when the rest of the family was in chaos. Things came to a head when Lily, at 20, announced she was pregnant. She didn't know who the father was and had no plan for how to care for a child. I was furious. We were already struggling to make ends meet, and now we had a baby on the way. I told Lily she needed to step up, find a job, and start preparing for motherhood. She promised she would, and for a while, it seemed like she might actually follow through. She got a job as a waitress and started attending parenting class. But a month before the baby was due, Lily disappeared. We were frantic, calling hospitals and filing a missing person report. She showed up 3 days later, not pregnant. She tearfully confessed that she had given the baby up for adoption without telling any of us. I was shocked and angry, but a small part of me was relieved that we wouldn't have to support a child on top of everything else. This incident seemed to shake some sense into Lily. But the next year, she actually held down her waitressing job and even started taking classes at the community college again. I started to hope that maybe, finally, things were turning around. But then came the twist that shattered any illusion of progress. I came home early from work one day to find Lily in bed with Dad. Yes, you read that right. My sister and my father were having an affair. I was disgusted, enraged, and heartbroken all at once. When confronted, Dad broke down crying, saying he was weak and Lily had seduced him. Lily, on the other hand, was defiant. She said she was an adult and could sleep with whoever she wanted and that Dad had been the only one to truly understand and support her. I told Mom immediately, expecting her to kick both Dad and Lily out. Instead, she had a complete breakdown. She locked herself in the bathroom and swallowed a bottle of pills. We had to call an ambulance, and she ended up spending 2 weeks in the psychiatric ward. While Mom was hospitalized, I gave Dad and Lily an ultimatum. Either they both leave, or I would report their incestuous relationship to the authorities. Dad left, moving in with a friend, but Lily refused to go. She claimed she had as much right to the house as anyone, and that I couldn't kick her out. The next few months were a nightmare. Mom came home from the hospital but was barely functional. Max, now 16, retreated into video games and rarely left his room. Lily continued her partying lifestyle, now funded by money she was getting from Dad. And I was left trying to hold everything together while feeling like I was drowning. The final straw came last week. I found out that Lily had stolen my identity to take out several credit cards. She had racked up over $30,000 in debt under my name. When I confronted her, she just shrugged and said, "You make good money, you can pay it off." I snapped. I told Lily she had 24 hours to get out of the house, or I would go to the police about both the credit card fraud and her relationship with Dad. She screamed, cried, and threatened suicide. But I stood firm. Lily left, but not before telling Max everything about her affair with Dad. Max, understandably, has completely shut down and refuses to speak to anyone. Changed all the locks, frozen my credit, and am in the process of reporting the fraud. I've told Dad that if he tries to contact anyone in the family, I'll report him for his relationship with Lily. I'm looking into options for putting Mom in a care facility where she can get help she needs, and I'm trying to convince Max to go to therapy, but so far, he's refusing. Now, Lily is blowing up social media, painting me as the villain who tore the family apart. She's telling everyone that I'm controlling and abusive, and that I kicked her out because I was jealous of her relationship with Dad. Some extended family members and old friends are buying into her story and have been harassing me, telling me I'm selfish and cruel for abandoning my sister when she needs help. Part of me wonders if they're right. Have I failed as a brother and son? Should I have found a way to help Lily rather than cutting her off? Was it wrong of me to expose the affair to Mom and Max? Should I have kept trying to keep the family together despite everything? But another part of me feels like I've sacrificed enough. Given up my dreams, my youth, and my chance at a normal life to support a family that seems hell-bent on self-destruction. I'm emotionally exhausted, financially drained, and at my wits' end. So Reddit, I ask you, AITA for finally cutting off my sister, exposing family secrets, and potentially tearing apart what's left of our family in the process. Edit 1. Wow, this blew up overnight. Thank you all for your responses and support. I'll try to address some common questions. Yes, I've spoken to a lawyer about the identity theft and credit card fraud. We're in the process of filing reports and disputing the charges. For those asking about Max's paternity, I honestly don't know. Given everything that's happened, it's a question that's crossed my mind, but I haven't pursued it. Max has been through enough without adding that uncertainty to the mix. Several people have suggested therapy for me, and you're absolutely right. I've been so focused on everyone else that I've neglected my own mental health. I'm looking into options for counseling. To those saying I should have reported Dad and Lily's relationship regardless of them leaving, you may be right. I was trying to avoid putting our family through a public scandal, but in hindsight, that might have been a mistake. For those concerned about Mom, she's currently staying with her sister, my aunt, while I look into long-term care options. It's not ideal, but it's the best we can do right now. Edit 2. Things have escalated. Lily showed up at the house last night, drunk and hysterical. She was pounding on the door and screaming that she was going to kill herself if I didn't let her in. Called the police, and they took her to the hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. I feel terrible, but I didn't know what else to do. Dad also called this morning. He was crying and begging for forgiveness, saying he wants to turn himself in and make things right. I told him that any decision about pressing charges would be up to Mom and Lily, but that he needs to stay away from our family. He said he understands and will respect our wishes. Max finally agreed to see a therapist. We have an appointment scheduled for next week. It's a small step, but it feels like progress. I'm still processing everything and trying to figure out the best path forward. Your comments and advice have been incredibly helpful. I'll update again if there are any significant developments. Final edit. It's been a whirlwind few weeks since my last update. Here's where things stand. Lily was released from the psychiatric hold after 72 hours. She's currently staying with a friend and has agreed to enter a rehab program. It's a start, but I'm cautiously optimistic. Dad followed through on his word and turned himself in. He's facing charges for the incestuous relationship with Lily. It's been hard, but I believe it was necessary for any kind of healing to begin. Mom has started intensive therapy and is showing small signs of improvement. She's still staying with my aunt, but is more engaged with her treatment. Max has been to a few therapy sessions. Slow going, but he's opening up bit by bit. We're rebuilding our relationship, and I'm committed to being there for him. I've started therapy myself, and I'm working through my own trauma and guilt. Painful, but I know it's necessary. The identity theft situation is being resolved. Most of the charges have been reversed. We're working with authorities to clean up the mess. I've taken a leave of absence from work to focus on my mental health and sorting out family affairs. My boss has been surprisingly understanding. Thank you all for your support and advice. This isn't a happy ending. Our family will never be the same. For the first time in years, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. I'm learning to set boundaries, prioritize my own well-being, and accept that I can't fix everything. It's a journey, but I'm cautiously hopeful for the future.